What's going on, everyone? I'm NeoAuto, and for today's video, we're going to be discussing the 2020 Shelby GT500. Now, after years of waiting, Ford has finally revealed the horsepower. This car is going to make 760 horsepower and 625 pound-feet of torque. Now, that's pretty impressive, but is it going to be enough to stand up to the competition? I mean, with new cars like the HELLCAT Red-Eye and the Corvette ZR1, the horsepower wars are at an all-time high. So in this video, I'm going to be comparing the GT500 to the competition based off what we know so far. And I'm also going to discuss the latest announcements from Ford. So let's get started. It seems like we've been waiting forever for this day to come. After months of tweaking and testing, Ford has finally announced the GT500's power figures. The new GT500 will make a whopping 760 horsepower and 625 pound-feet of torque. To put that into perspective, the new GT500 is more powerful than the HELLCAT, ZL1, and ZR1, making it one of the most powerful cars in its segment. As a matter of fact, the GT500 puts out more horsepower and torque per liter than any other production supercharged V8. Now, when I first heard these numbers, I remembered the old digital dash photos from 2017. Now, do you guys remember these? Take a look at this screenshot. It shows 455. Well, as it turns out, the 2018 Mustang GT ended up making 460 horsepower, which is 5 more horsepower than this picture. Well, coincidentally, there was also a screenshot of 755. And of course, now we know the GT500 will make 760 horsepower. Now, is this a coincidence? Did Ford plan this ahead of time? I'm gonna say it's too much of a coincidence. I think Ford most certainly did this on purpose. Now, I'm personally happy with this number. 760 is definitely a respectable figure. And this car is going to be everything great about the GT350, but to the next level. But with that next level of performance, it's going to come at a price. In addition to the power figures, Ford has also released the official prices. The GT500 starts out at around $70,000, which is about what we expected. But here's where things get interesting. If you want the carbon fiber package, which includes the huge wing and exposed carbon fiber rims, you'll have to pay an additional $18,500. And those painted over the top racing stripes, that's a $10,000 option. On top of that, there's other options available, and pretty soon you're over $100,000. But it doesn't end there. The dealerships that receive allocations for these cars are going to jack up the prices due to demand. These ADMs, or additional dealer markups, can range anywhere from $5,000 to sometimes even $20,000. So now you're in the $120,000 to $130,000 range. Oh my! But you have to remember, this Mustang is unlike any that has come before it. Not only is it the most powerful street-legal Ford ever produced, but it's also entered the supercar territory. It's making more power than cars like the Ferrari Tributo and the McLaren 720S. And those cars cost a whole lot more than the GT500. So if you're a person lucky enough to find a dealership willing to sell you this car for MSRP, you are very lucky, because most all dealerships are going to add an additional dealer markup. Now, the biggest question that still remains is, how is the new GT500 going to stack up against the competition? As of this recording, Ford still has not released all the performance figures, but they have given us some big hints. 0 to 60 will be in the mid 3-second range, making it the fastest Mustang ever produced. The quarter-mile time will be sub 11 seconds, which is also very impressive. So with that in mind, let's look at the competition. First up, we have the HELLCAT. I would say the HELLCAT is the car that originally started this new era of horsepower wars. It makes 717 horsepower and 656 pound-feet of torque. And all that is possible thanks to its 6.2-liter supercharged V8. The new GT500 makes more horsepower and will most likely weigh less than the HELLCAT. But Dodge has another car up their sleeve. The HELLCAT Red-Eye. It makes 797 horsepower and 707 pound-feet of torque. It has the same engine as the Demon, but it's detuned and doesn't make quite as much horsepower. But nevertheless, it's essentially an 800 horsepower car. Now the Hellcat Red-Eye makes a little more power than the GT500, which gives Dodge the bragging rights for the most powerful muscle car currently on the market. But here's something to consider. Dodge says the Red-Eye runs a 10.8 in the quarter mile. Ford says the new GT500 is capable of a sub 11-second quarter mile. This means that despite the power difference, the GT500 might be capable of a faster quarter mile time. But what about the Demon?
Venom kills demons.
Well, although the GT500 may not be able to beat the Demon in a straight line, it will most certainly do better on the track. In more recent times, Jim Owens has said the GT500 is the fastest Mustang we've produced, left and right. In other words, he's saying not only is it really fast, but it's going to handle tremendously well. And if we've learned anything from the GT350, Ford knows how to make a great handling sports car. Now let's look at what Chevy has to offer. The ZL1 makes 650 horsepower and 650 pound-feet of torque. Much like the GT500, the ZL1 is also available with a carbon fiber track package known as the 1LE. Although the ZL1 makes slightly more torque, it makes 110 horsepower less than the GT500. That being said, the ZL1 is an impressive car, and seeing it go up against the GT500 will be very interesting. Unlike the Hellcats, which shine on the drag strip, the ZL1 is great on the track. I have a feeling the GT500 is going to outperform it given the power advantage. But rumor has it, Chevy may put the ZR1's 755 horsepower engine into a Camaro. Now it's only a rumor, but it would make sense considering the ZL1's engine is essentially the same as the Corvette Z06. This would be a real smart move by Chevy, but there's also been some talks of Chevy discontinuing the Camaro altogether. Development for the 7th generation Camaro was reportedly suspended. If this is true, it means that the 6th generation Camaro will be finished by 2023.
No!
I certainly hope this is not true, but if it is, there's still time for Chevy to put the ZR1 engine in a Camaro. Now, I've been talking about this ZR1 engine. Well, it of course comes from the Corvette ZR1, which makes only 5 horsepower less than the GT500, but it has more torque at 715 pound-feet. I saw one of these at a recent car show and it just looks so exotic. Now the ZR1 will weigh less than the GT500 and can go in the quarter mile in just 10.6 seconds. And once again, that doesn't mean the GT500 won't come close in the quarter mile. After all, Ford did say a sub 11-second time. And let's not forget, the GT500 is going to come equipped with a DCT, which will give it very quick shifts and very good times. But until Ford gives us all the details, we'll just have to wait and see. So what do you guys think of the GT500? Let me know in the comments below. I'm Neo Watto, and thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.